Who should Buffalo look into adding this offseason? What's up, guys, and welcome back to another episode of Sports Talk Buffalo. Remember to like, subscribe, hit that notification bell so you guys never miss a video. I talk Bills, Sabres, and UB Bulls, men's basketball and football. Also remember to check out my Teespring store. Link is in the description below. Now, before we get into this video and we talk about some of the players that I want to add in this offseason, obviously, yes, the biggest need for the Buffalo Sabres is goalie. There is no way around it. The Buffalo Sabres currently don't have any NHL goaltenders on their roster as we speak. So, yes, I am well aware that that is their biggest need, and I am going to devote an entire video on it later this upcoming month and the next couple weeks. So with that said, let's get into some players that I believe the Buffalo Sabres should go after in this offseason. The first player is somebody that I want the Buffalo Sabres to target in a trade. He is not a free agent. Is defenseman Radko Gudas from the Florida Panthers. Now, the Buffalo Sabres did have some success with trading with the Florida Panthers. Obviously, they traded Sam Reinhart, and they got a first-round pick and goaltending prospect, Devin Levi, who looks like he is going to be a very, very good goaltender in a few years. So why not go back to Florida and see if you can't swing a trade, because you obviously need a third-pair defenseman heading into next season. I think Radko Gudas gives something to the Sabres that they don't currently have, and that is a lot of physicality, toughness, and some grit. Radko Gudas is only going to be 32. He's going to be 32 years old with 1 year left on his contract, 1 year left on a 3-year contract that he signed, and it is worth an average of $2.5 million per year. I believe he would be a very, very good third-line defenseman. Obviously, as he ages, he will eventually start to get slower. But he only has 1 year left on his deal, so if this doesn't work out, you don't necessarily lose a whole lot, and you could potentially flip him at the trade deadline because teams are always looking for a player like him heading into the NHL playoffs. As I said, I think he'll be a very good third-pair defensive defenseman. He averages 1.69 blocks per game over the course of his career. He's able to play the penalty kill, but he's also able to chip in on the offensive side here and there, as he averages roughly 20 points, just a shade under 20 points per 82 games for his entire career. As I stated before, he also adds something on the back end that the Sabres don't have a lot of. I know the Sabres have some size with Samuelsson and with power. However, neither of those guys are really overly physical. And Gudas adds physicality to the back end for the Buffalo Sabres, making it very hard to play against and can kind of wear other teams down. Gudas, over the course of his career, averages 3.5 hits per game. And he's also not afraid to mix it up when the situation calls for it, as he has 33 fighting majors in his career. So not a guy who goes out there and that's all he does is drop the gloves. He can contribute in a multitude of ways, and he would be able to take some of the pressure off of the top two pairings for the Sabres and not necessarily have those guys have to play 20 to 25 minutes a game. You can give your third pair guys, more than 10 to 12 minutes. You could potentially now give them 15 to 16 minutes a game going forward. The second player that I want the Buffalo Sabres to go after is unrestricted free agent right-handed D, currently still in the playoffs for now, and that is Erik Gabrunsen. He turns 31 years old during next season. He is a big man at 6'5", 222 pounds. He is very physical, as he averages 2 hits per game for his entire career, and he has a ton of offensive upside. He's a little bit of offensive upside as he's coming off of one of his best offensive seasons, scoring 6 goals, 11 assists for 17 points. He could also potentially move throughout the D-core as, in case one of the other defensemen gets hurt or some other thing happens. He is very capable of moving up and down the lineup on the defensive side for the Buffalo Sabres, so they don't necessarily have to worry if one of their right-handed D-men go out. Gabrunsen can just slide in, and the Sabres could replace somebody on that third pair. He would also provide a lot of veteran leadership as he has a plethora of games in the NHL. 641 games in the NHL does Erik Gabrunsen have. So he would able to be a veteran leadership on that back end for a very young D-core for the Buffalo Sabres. And lastly, somebody that I would pick is somebody that Buffalo Sabres fans know and probably don't love very much, at least the last name, as his father played for the rival Toronto Maple Leafs, and that is Max Domi. I would love to add somebody like Max Domi on the fourth line for the Buffalo Sabres, as he is a small and gritty forward who has a tremendous amount of offensive upside. Domi could come right in with limited minutes, as he averaged less than 13 minutes per game between the Columbus Blue Jackets and the Carolina Hurricanes, and he still managed to score 39 points in 72 games between those two clubs. Domi is also not afraid to mix it up if need be, as he has 13 fights in his NHL career. So again, he adds a little bit of grittiness that the Buffalo Sabres forwards sorely need. The only player that I would consider a gritty forward for the Buffalo Sabres is probably Dylan Cousins, and you don't want the young man to have to be the only one willing to step up in situations that requires an answer and be a little bit more team tough. Okay? I think the Buffalo Sabres need a little bit more grit and physicality to not just make the playoffs, but to succeed in the playoffs once they eventually get there. I think any one of those 3 players, if the Sabres could add them in this offseason, would be tremendous additions moving forward. And I think that's something that the Buffalo Sabres should absolutely look at heading into this offseason. That's going to do it for this episode, ladies and gentlemen. Again, I want to thank you guys for watching. Remember to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell so you guys never miss a video. That's all. Have a fantastic week.